you are at or near burnout, it's highly likely that your energy is at an all-time low. Your stress levels are at an all-time high. Your concentration levels, the brain fog is overflowing. It is likely that you have already withdrawn from some of the people or some of the activities that you love doing. And it's highly likely that you are pushing more and more and more to keep on top of everything. And you feel your brain has got you in that point of thinking that if you just keep on going and keep on pushing, you can work your way out of this. If you've watched any of my previous videos on how the brain works and why we think and feel the way we do, you'll know that when we're in that state of our brain, we're in that primitive part of our brain is looking for previous patterns and previous behaviors to keep us going and to keep us safe. We go deep into that fight or flight mode. And of course, if we've got some sort of wild animal behind us that's chasing us, we need to keep running. And so when we get into that point of burnout, those triggers, those patterns that we have in our head are telling us, keep going. Because of the changes, the chemical changes in our bodies, the neurological changes in our brains, we feel all of the receptors and everything that's going on in our body are telling us that we are at risk. So we keep going, we keep going, we keep going. It's like we're running, trying to get away from this wild animal that is coming up behind us. You will know, and if you've been watching any of my previous videos or if you've attended any of my previous workshops, you will know I'm a huge advocate for sleep. I'm a huge advocate for boundaries, and I'm a huge advocate for self-care. I really, really believe that we can prevent burnout when we understand who we are at our core, when we have those boundaries in place, and when we focus on our self-care. And I'll cover those off in another video. But what I want to really focus on today are 3 questions that you can ask to help you manage your energy. And if we can manage our energy, then hopefully we can start to prevent burnout. So it's 3 questions that I want to cover with you today. And I call them, I suppose these are my qualifying questions. So again, I've learned over the years the importance of these. I use them anytime I need to make a big decision, an important decision, a business decision, or a life decision. And sometimes, again, like I don't get this stuff right all of the time. If I have been overworking and I know that I'm getting distracted by things, or if I'm choosing unhealthy patterns, I'm choosing ways to numb, to stop me feeling the way that I'm currently feeling, these questions help get me out of that dip. Now, I'm not saying that I remember to use them all of the time, but more and more so. So I create the awareness, and more. I've got them splattered everywhere. I've got them on my phone. I've got them as screensavers. I've got them in my journals, in my diaries. I've got Post-it notes kind of all over the place as reminders. So what I call my 3 qualifying questions. So if somebody's asking you to do something at work, if somebody's asking you to do something at home, if you feel you've got an important decision to make. So we can use these qualifying questions at any time. We don't have to be near burnout. We don't have to be at that point of stress. They can just help us prioritize, manage our energy, manage our time, although you'll know I'm a big believer in managing energy rather than time, but they just help us to be making the right decisions for us. And if we're making the right decisions and we're managing our energy effectively, ideally we can then prevent burnout because we're not moving towards stress. Everything is aligned. We're feeling great. We're feeling confident. We're believing in ourselves. We're trusting our choices, and therefore we can keep going in the way that we want to go. So these 3 qualifying questions. So the first is this a priority for me right now? Is this a priority for me right now? The second question, is this aligned to my core values? Is this aligned to my core values? And the third question, will it give me energy? And if the answer to any of those questions is a no, then I don't do it. Okay, so again, if we think about some examples. So today, ordinarily, I'm off tech quite early. I have 2 calls a month that take me past my tech switch off time. And I can share with you the pattern that I kind of go through. So I have 2 calls a month whereby I work into the evening. Ordinarily, I'm off tech by 8 p.m. at the latest. I'm usually in bed by 9 p.m. And whilst I'm in bed, I'm doing my journaling, I'm doing my meditation, I am preparing for a good night's sleep. Again, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you know that I believe that a good morning always starts the night before. So I make sure that I have all of that prep. I have my downtime. I have no tech. I do some reading. I do some journaling. I do my meditation, and then I'm ready to go to sleep. But on these 2 evenings a month, one of them is coming to an end in August. And then the other one finishes at the end of this year. But tonight, for example, I'm going to have this call. The call will finish between 8:30 p.m. and 9 p.m. So I'll have been on tech for an extra half an hour or hour. But I usually come off those calls then full of ideas, full of energy. My brain is really active. My brain is, looking for solutions, looking for ideas, looking for ways to deal with things. Sometimes I'm also dealing with some of the frustrations that come from those calls, but I'm kind of in that mode. So what I tend to do then after those calls is I grab my notebook and I'm scribbling to try and get everything out of my head. But I will then, because sometimes it also eats into meal times, so my meal times are messed up on that particular day, the rest of the family will go to bed and I will choose, I'll make the decision that actually I still need to decompress, right? I need some mind-numbing TV or I need something. And so it's very easy for me on that particular day to reach for Netflix or stick on Amazon Prime and just say, I'm just going to watch something just for an hour. But it's never an hour. And usually the thing that I want to watch is a series. So I might watch 2 or 3 episodes of something. And then 3 or 4 hours into bed later than I would have been. I'm not feeling so great the following day. If I remember to ask those questions, is this a priority for me right now, scrolling through Netflix? Of course, the answer is no. The priority is decompress and get yourself to bed as quickly as possible. Is it aligned to my core values? Absolutely not. No. One of my big values is around integrity. So that's doing the right thing even when nobody is looking. And again, if I'm talking about boundaries and talking about the importance of sleep and I'm not doing it, then I'm not in line with my core value of integrity. So that's not aligned either. No. Will it give me energy? No. It's going to keep my head whirring. It's going to stop me getting sleep. I'm going to feel like crap the next day. When I catch myself with those questions, and again, it's all about creating that awareness. I can think this is stupid. I've had half an hour, get myself up to bed. I might need a hot bath, a salt bath, some essential oils, and just try and decompress and chill in a different way. If I don't catch myself, if I've been overworking all week, I might not think about those questions. But again, for me, not only with, I suppose, managing my energy, but also with managing my mental health. Again, for those of you that are new, I live with bipolar. For those of you that have been following me or watching me for a while, you know that I talk about that actively. And I really talk about the importance of sleep in helping me manage that mental health condition. I cannot afford to not prioritize my sleep. And I fully know that. But if my stress levels, if that stress bucket has been overfilling for a period of time, again, my brain is looking for what are the patterns that keep us going. Patterns are let's numb with TV, or let's numb with food, or let's numb with, I don't know, something else. Don't drink alcohol, don't have caffeine. But I'm looking for those ways to numb. Sometimes I'm still reaching for my phone, and online shopping is still my absolute biggest bugbear. But I need to keep that awareness of those questions in mind. Likewise, if I'm having to make a decision for my business, or if somebody's asked me to run a workshop, if I'm looking at projects in terms of managing my year or my month or my week, or a client wants something that isn't something that I've normally delivered, but they're really keen on getting me to do that. Same 3 questions. Is this a priority for me right now? Is this aligned to my core values? Will this give me energy? And sometimes it is aligned to my core values, but it's not a priority for me right now. Sometimes it is aligned to my core values. And yes, it could be a priority, but it's not going to give me energy. And I'm not focused on anything that isn't going to give me energy. Anything that is going to seriously drain me of energy, I don't want to do. And, you know, and I say that again, thinking about these 2 calls that I do twice a month, I hadn't necessarily recognized how much downtime I would need after those calls. I've done them previously. Again, everything that's been happening in the world over the last few years, I'm already lower in energy than I ordinarily would be, just because of everything that's been going on. So I've got to pay even more attention to keeping those energy levels up. So if you're wanting to manage your energy, if you're wanting to try and decrease that stress, if you're wanting to try and help with your decision making and making sure that everything that you do is aligned to who you are and what it is that you want, and it's aligned to your boundaries and it fits in with your self-care, and it's going to give you energy, they're the 3 questions. Is this a priority for me right now? Is this aligned to my core values? Will this give me energy? And if you've got any of those questions that are a no, don't do it. And that could be meetings, it could be stuff with kids, stuff with family, stuff with friends. If it's a no to those questions, and I'm giving you these questions, these are my questions and they work for me. If you're at that point of reaching burnout, or if you're feeling your stress levels are going, I'm gifting you these 3 questions. But as you then start to come out of that burnout and as that stress starts to decrease, I would encourage you to create your own 3 questions. And it might be the 3 that I've just given you. It might be one of those, and then maybe you've got some of your own. But for now, I'm gifting you these questions. Is this a priority for me right now? Is this aligned to my core values? And will this give me energy? And if the answer to any of those questions is no, it's a no. Let it go. Don't hold on to the stress. If there's guilt attached to it, don't hold on to the guilt. And again, in the next video, when I talk to you about who are you, getting really, really clear on that will help to eliminate guilt. Okay, but your 3 questions to help you manage your energy, because you're also managing your priorities, you're maintaining your boundaries, you're doing what is right for you, you're not people pleasing, you're not doing stuff that's for everybody else. You are really starting to step into that core-led space and into who are you at your core with those 3 questions. Okay, so once more, is this a priority for me right now? Is this aligned to my core values? And will this give me energy? And if any of those are a no, don't do it. So give those to you. If you want to find out more about how the brain works and why we think and feel the way we do, you'll also find that on my YouTube channel. And if you want to understand the 3 ways that I talk about in terms of burnout prevention, understanding who you are at the core, maintaining boundaries, and taking time for yourself, you'll find that in one of the next videos. Take care for now. Bye.